for these problems, we need to factor. So it says remove the common monomial factor. In this case, that common monomial factor is actually going to be the GCF, the greatest common factor. So what we want to do is find the greatest common factor of these two numbers that we see there, the 30 and the 42. Now you can do these with factor trees, and we'll just write out the prime factors of each. So for 30, that's going to be the same thing as 6 and 5, and then 6 is going to be 2 and 3. So for 30, we have 2 times 3 times 5. Now the other one is going to be 42. So 42 would be 6 and 7, and then we have a 2 and a 3 right there. So for 42, we have a 2 times 3 times 7. Now the ones that are the same between these will be 2 times 3, or 6. That means 6 is the largest number that divides evenly into 30 and 42. So that's the first step, is to find the GCF. Once you have the GCF, go ahead and write that down. And then what's going to happen is we're going to have something that's going to go inside a set of parentheses. Now, to find out what goes inside there, what we're going to do is use division. So for this term right here, that's going to go there. We're going to take 30x and divide it by the GCF. Whatever is left over is what goes inside the parentheses there for the first term. So 30x divided by 6 is going to be 5x. We have a plus, so we'll put a plus sign there. The last term that's going to go inside the parentheses is going to be 42 divided by 6. So when you factor something out, factoring is a type of division. So we did 30x divided by 6. Now we're going to do 42 divided by 6, and we get a 7. And so what you see here is actually going to be the answer. We have 6 outside and then 5x plus 7 inside. Now, if you wanted to see if you did that correct, what you would do is multiply. 6 times 5x would be 30x. 6 times 7 would be 42. So that tells you that you did it correctly. You can always multiply it back through, redistribute it, and you should get the same thing that you started with. Let's do the same thing for this other example here. We're going to, again, start with the factor trees. 28, 4 and 7, and then 2 and 2. So 28, we have a 2 times a 2 times a 7. Next, let's work with the 70. Okay, so 70 is 7 times 10. And then we have so nothing goes into 7, but for 10, we have 2 and 5. So for that, if we want to do 70, write that down. We have a 5 and a 2 and a 7. Doesn't matter the order in which you write these. I wanted to write it in this way specifically because we see here that 2 and 7 are common in both, which means that 2 times 7 is 14. 14 would be the greatest common factor between these two numbers. So whatever it is, we're going to put the GCF on the outside, 14. And this is where we do division to find out what goes inside the parentheses. So for this first one here, we want to take 28x divided by 14. And when we do, we get 2x. We have a plus. And then this one over here, for the second thing that's going to go inside the parentheses, we have to take 70 and divide it by 14. When we do that, we'll get a 5. So now this is going to be the fully factored answer here. Once again, we can always multiply this through by 14, and you should get exactly what you started with.